for a little bit. No, I've been wanting to ask, what do you get out of being here at Saturday Night Live? What is it you get out of it? Does anybody want to share what they get out? Yes, one. Well, I think we already all know what's wrong, right? And hopefully, we're able to find what we need to do. And we basically already know what we need to do, right? Sometimes it's being able to figure out how to do that, and so that's what life recovery is all about. Believe. Pray. Turn it over to God. Yep. Okay. Yep. Listen. All right. Anybody else? Something else you want to share that you get out?
I don't know that you can really put into words all that I've gotten from Saturday Night Live.
Well, we're going to have to shrink it down. I mean, or maybe hit the top 10 or something. I don't know. Yes, Patty?
A sense of belonging.
All right. Very good. Good. Yes? All right. Very good. Relate to people. Okay. Good. And we're glad you're here. Yes, sir.
Love and acceptance and a lot of good tools to deal with life with. And in reality, when I showed up, I didn't know what was wrong. I thought I was pretty squared away until I got to actually look at some of the tools that we use here to figure out maybe I can improve a little too.
The tools. Well, we don't know what we don't know, right? So, and that's part of it. A lot of us went through school, but we didn't really pay a whole lot of attention when we were there. And they didn't really teach us life skills. You got most of those in other places, if you know what I mean. And so, but most of those skills weren't necessarily healthy life skills. They may have been survival skills. And so, anyway. Yeah, well, you learn them. You either learn or die. And so, anybody else? Oh,
It helps me going through the step work and learning things about myself.
good.
Now I'm sober.
Good. Excellent. Thanks.
It's given me a platform to be able to not only have growth, but to be able to help others find their growth too. I've been able to take what I've learned here and use it in my relationships and my work and just, every part of my life. So it's been kind of overwhelming. I don't even know how to. Well, 9 years ago when I walked down these stairs, I would have never figured that I would have been nominated for Mental Health Champions Award, but
Awesome.
I was, and so I go every couple of weeks for that event. But so that was a big transition.
Is that national or is that state?
That's in the state. So thank you.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Let's give her a big hand. How about that?
It is because the tools that I learned here, because when I first came down those steps, I was pretty scared. I kind of like Paul, I didn't really know what to expect when I come down those stairs. I had a lot of years of sobriety, but I didn't really realize that I didn't have any recovery. I had checklists, and I was really good at that.
That's good. We got to have courage to fail, and because you can't learn if you don't make mistakes, and then correct those mistakes. So, thank you. Yes, sir.
So was your question, what does this all mean to you? Or
What have you gotten out of it, or either one?
Can I share something that happened tonight briefly?
Won't you come a little closer so everybody can hear you? How about that? Do you want to speak on the mic? We'll let you speak on.
So we had somebody here tonight, he made a momentary entrance and then left, but he was having a mental health crisis. And in his mental health crisis, he believed that he was Satan. So, that's something that's pretty common with folks who struggle. They have a severe religious experience, or they think they're somebody out of the Bible, good or bad. And so he was struggling, and he kept telling me that he was Satan, he was the Antichrist. But he told me that he liked it here and he felt safe here. Okay? And he liked coming here. And he asked me if I was going to run him off like all the other churches did. They're always being mean to Satan, running Satan off. And this may sound kind of funny, okay, but there's a huge compliment in there,
Yeah, it is.
you know, that he thought he was all bad, but he was safe to come here. And in his struggle, he felt safe to come here. Now, he came down and he got loud, and he got upset with me and said he had a bomb. But upstairs, he's like, "Are you making me leave?" And I'm like, "No, Satan, you can stay." And I wasn't being facetious, but that's what he said his name was. And when somebody's in a struggle, you don't argue with them and tell them that that's not who they are.
That's true.
You meet them where they are. And so,
Meet them where they are.
you got to meet them where they are. Isn't that what we do here?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "I'm not running you off, Satan, but you can't be loud and yelling downstairs with a meeting's going on, but you're welcome to be here. You just got to talk quiet." So we talked a little bit upstairs, and he chose to leave, but he said he'd come back. So I don't know if that's what you were, I thought that was a pretty high compliment.
Yeah. I've been thinking about doing this for almost a month, and I'm usually so focused on trying to get through some of the stuff that I've prepared that I never hardly ever get through, and so I thought of it again tonight, and I thought, we'll just give it a shot. So, thank you, Zach. How many times has that happened? And it's not necessarily what we say, but it's that spirit. And I was talking about that emotional energy that we put out, that spirit that is picked up. And I'll go ahead and say it. A high number of folks that's been involved in certain things, they get more sensitive, and they're open to spiritual influences, and because they've exercised those areas, they can pick up things. They can pick up evil things, and they can pick up godly things. And I believe, and I choose to believe, that everyone wants peace. They want that spiritual contentment. In fact, I didn't even tell you that. I don't think I told you this story. Last week we had another guy here that, and I knew him. He'd been here before, and he said he wanted my advice. And if you know me, I don't give advice necessarily. I'll talk to people, we'll listen, and we'll go through the process because they already know what they need to do and what they want to do. Now he had two things going on in his head, and one was then, and basically he said this: I need to figure out if I want to burn it all down, and he was talking about the world, or if I want to just go to the woods. And I just listened to him. I did not answer him. Okay? But I already knew that if he was thinking about both of those, that he knew what he wanted to do and he knew what he needed to do, but he had so much anger that there was that screaming demon in his head that and so I just listened to him, and by the time we got done in about 15 minutes, he was okay, and he really was able to do what he really wanted to do and come to that peace. Because see, the first thing I asked him, I said, you know, is there anybody that has ever loved you? He said, well, it wasn't my mom. Okay. I said, well, it was anyone. Yeah, that was two people. And so one of them was about to die, and that's one of the reasons for his mental emotional conflict. And so anyway, we processed through that. But the point of it was, he hugged me. He said he'd see me again. All right? Which is a good thing. And that he and the world didn't come to an end this past week, which I didn't believe that it would. If I'd really thought that it was that intense, then I would have to take different action. But that's not where we were. And so, anyway, stuff like that happens all the time. Should I have not told that story? Okay, all right. And the thing of it is we want to help people, and that's our heart's desire. That's what we're putting out there, and people show up for that help. And we may not know it as a group, but it happens. Does anybody else have something they'd like to share? Something you get out of Saturday Night Live? Family. Yes. Well, Well, I want you on my side. I sure don't want you against me. That's for sure. All right. Thank you, Juan. We need to go on, buddy. Thank you. Little pass.
Just a way for me to make sense of bringing the whole mind, body, and spirit together of the balance of the acceptance of Terry, and I just, in the few years I've been around,
In the 3 years you've been here, what?
I've learned a lot.
Okay.
Even though I've been searching for over 40 years for help in different ways, and I still get help in other things.
Sure.
Because of how far I go, but I get a lot from just here. If it's whether from somebody's testimony of going through something or.
Sure. That's what it's all about.
It always makes sense.
One of the things we've been talking about is how do you get to be the best version of yourself? Okay, and we're getting close on time, and I'm gonna read you a quote from a guy that you may have heard of, and his name is Warren Buffett. Anybody heard of Warren Buffett? Okay, he's the most successful. Yeah, maybe you might be more familiar with him. Okay, and so, but Warren Buffett made this quote, and we were talking about how to be the best version of yourself, and we started off saying that you need to master your thinking. So this is addressing your some of your thinking and also your feelings. So here, listen to Mr. Buffett. It says, "You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you." Shall I say that again? You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you.
What are you trying to say, Doug?
You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction, Zach, to everything that is said to you. All right? And we're not done with this quote, but when Zach did that, it made me think of Spinoza's quote. There it is. Emotion, this is Spinoza. He says, emotion, which is suffering, ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it.
Break that down a little bit.
Okay? Well, we're talking about suffering, and I believe that we're talking about the suffering we're talking about is emotional suffering. It has to do with denial. We resist accepting reality. Anybody here resist accepting reality? Okay. So if we resist reality, then we're fighting a losing battle, right? But we keep fighting because we think that that's the only thing that we can do because that's all we've ever done. But it's not reality. Does that make sense? If Einstein said if we keep doing the same thing we've always done, expecting this different results, that's insanity. And so emotions, which is suffering, and we're talking about suffering, this emotional torment, okay, ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it. Now, what does that mean? There are so many different therapies and modalities that help people to function. It's the same with Scripture and faith and speaking words of faith, deciding on what it is that you want. Okay, I press towards the mark of the high calling. You decide where you want to go. Getting focused on getting a clear, precise picture of something, focusing on it is so important. How many of you, well, probably nobody in here, but you know somebody that has said, why do I always act this way? You know, why do I do this? You know, why do I feel this way? Why do I do the same thing over and over? And the underlying statement here is, I don't know what's pushing me around, right? That's what it means. And as long as we don't have the understanding of what's pushing us around, we are apt to be pushed around by that. And who's doing the pushing? It's you, right? Right? And soon as we say, wait a minute, really, what am I feeling here? What's the feeling that's causing this reaction? And then if we say, then when we get the feeling, well, what's the thought, belief, or memory that's causing this feeling? Okay, and we finally get a picture of what the trigger, how about that word, trigger is. When we figure out the trigger, then we can do something about it. We can deal with it. Maybe you don't know how to deal with it at the moment that you figured it out, but now you've got a target to work with that I need to. Let's just use this. Every time I think about my mother, I have this violent internal explosion. Okay? Kind of like my mother one time said, why are you always so angry at me? And I said, I don't know, Mom, but I have to deal with it every damn day. And literally that's what I said. And so I had to figure this out because my mother was my biological mother, but she wasn't my mother. Okay? But the reality was, she did the best that she could do. Okay, it took me a while to get here to this place, but she did the best that she could do. I mean, she was 15 years old when she got pregnant with me, and she was just barely 16 when she brought me into this world. She told me that she couldn't drive to the doctor's appointments. She had to be taken, okay? She said, I helped raise her, my mother, okay? I emotionally helped her through her process, and she did the best she could. She was what she was. How about that? All right? And I'm okay. I wish it had been different, but reality is it was the way that it was. Does that make sense? And when I got a clear picture and I understood some of the dynamics in her family, she had a alcoholic father, which is my grandfather. She had a extreme perfectionistic mother, which is my grandmother, that was extremely rigid and perfectionistic. You put that together and you got something. And so I had to accept that. And until I could get my head around, I had to get past just dealing or fighting or contending with the emotion. Does that make sense? I had to understand what was creating that, and I had to deal with that. Okay? And Max Planck, I believe it's Planck, he was a physicist, said this. He said, now had to do with quantum physics. He said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, I heard Wayne Dyer give that many years ago, and I thought it came from him, but then I figured out that Max Planck said it because it was back in the 20s or 30s when he said it. And so, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so, but the truth is still the truth, okay? When you change, and that's exactly what Spinoza was saying. When you get a clear and precise picture of it, the suffering has a potential possibility of ceasing. Now, isn't that great? Okay? Now, I got about 2 minutes left, and I'll go back to the quote that we started on. If I can find it. Oh, well, I know it's right in here somewhere. Warren Buffett, yeah. Got too many different things on here. Let's see. There, Warren Buffett says, okay, I'll start over. It says, you will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is observing things with logic. True power is observing things with logic. True power is restraint. If words control you, I got that in orange. If words control you, that means everyone else can control you. Concluding here, his statement, breathe and allow things to pass. Must we fight at every drop of the hat? Excuse me? Good. Another quantum physics information. Anybody familiar with superposition? Superposition means that all the possibilities lie before you. See, most of us think that we only have, I can only do what I think I got to do, and I got to do that. All right, and I've always got to do the. I am what I am, that's all I am, and I can't do anything any different. That is not the truth. Because in superposition means that in quantum physics and in the world of faith, all the possibilities are there. Positively and negatively, healthy and unhealthy. And guess what? You get to choose. The trouble is, we're so used to picking the same thing always over and over and over. We always do the same thing again and again, and we think, well, why does it keep turning out that way? Right. We can pick differently, okay? But we tell ourselves we can't, okay? I want to wind up with this. As I was studying this again today, I thought of the old show, Let's Make a Deal. Okay, let's make a deal. And I think it's on this show. I don't remember. I hadn't seen it in a long time. But they say, come on down, and it's your lucky day. And then they say, you can pick from door number 1, or door number 2, door number 3, or you can pick the curtain, what's behind the curtain on number 4, right? Or, guess what? You can have this money that's in my pocket. They have all kinds of stuff, right? Right? Now,